Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to completely strip away all those confusing tropes, the terrible internet advice, and those cringy pickup cliches. Instead, we're diving straight into the actual psychology and neurobiology of human attraction. So if you've ever felt like you're doing literally everything right, but still getting absolutely nowhere, well, you're in the exact right place.
Okay, let's just start with a massive reality check right off the bat. Too many people out there treat attraction like it's some sort of logical checklist. They think it's like catching Pokemon or unlocking a rare Fortnite skin. Like if you just input the right cheat codes or have the perfect stats on paper, boom, you win. But actually, attraction isn't logical at all. It is an entirely emotional experience.
So, to really understand how this all works, we're going to follow a pretty specific roadmap today. We'll start with emotion over logic, then move right into scarcity and the vibe, explore the proximity rule and the favor effect, do a quick reality check on presentation, and finally we'll dive deep into what I call the biological override.
All right, let's kick things off with layer number 1, emotion over logic, and why it really is all about creating a feeling.
There's this core philosophy that really acts as the bedrock for everything we're talking about today. And it's this: you're not trying to impress her. You are trying to create a feeling. Because look, being a nice guy on paper, that means absolutely nothing if the actual interaction feels super tense or boring or like you're just desperately begging for approval. If you're coming across as stiff or calculating, the vibe is just bad and attraction simply cannot grow in that environment. But if the feeling is good, you win.
Now, what's really fascinating is how exactly we trigger that good feeling. Let's move to layer 2, scarcity and the vibe. Human psychology is heavily wired around loss aversion. We inherently value what's limited, right? Not what feels completely guaranteed. Just imagine, you're staring at two identical PS5 consoles. One box says available anytime, and the other says limited run, no restocks. Your brain instantly assigns way more value to that second box, even though the actual product inside is exactly the same. And honestly, this applies directly to social dynamics. If you're always available, always texting first, always hovering around, you just become predictable background noise. You've got to be present for sure, but not completely predictable. Your attention actually needs to have value.
And your vibe matters just as much as your availability. This right here is the silent killer of attraction. You might be saying all the perfect things, but if you're tense, over-calculating every single word, and giving off that super anxious job interview energy, like you're asking for approval with every sentence, you kill the attraction instantly. You literally have to ditch that energy. Just slow down, pause, make eye contact, say less, but actually mean what you say. A comfortable silence projects a ton of quiet confidence.
This actually brilliantly illustrates what psychologists call the gain-loss effect. Think of building attraction kind of like playing one of those claw machines at the arcade. Initially, you don't even really care about the stuffed animal, right? But after you drop a few tokens in, almost get it, and then miss by an inch, suddenly you care way more than you probably should. It's because you don't want to walk away empty-handed. So first you start neutral. Don't go all in on day one because that removes all the tension. Next, you let her invest. As she asks questions and engages, let her earn your attention. And finally, you naturally warm up as she earns it. She's going to value the connection far more because she feels like she actually earned it, rather than it just being handed over on a silver platter.
Okay, let's move right along to our third layer, the proximity rule and the highly counterintuitive favor effect. Now, this sounds incredibly obvious, but you simply cannot attract someone you literally never see. Attraction builds through repeated exposure. We're talking small, consistent moments in shared spaces, like a class, the gym, or mutual friend circles. It is almost never about that one perfect movie-like interaction. But please remember there's a very firm line here. Creating natural, repeated exposure? Totally good. Acting like Joe Goldberg from the show You? Very bad. Don't be weird about it. Keep it natural.
So once you have that natural proximity, how do you lock in those positive feelings? Well, you leverage the favor effect. There's this absolutely fascinating study from 1971 out of the University of North Carolina. Volunteers were asked to oversee a task performed by other students. Group A was told to give encouragement when the students succeeded. Group B was told to literally insult and criticize the students when they failed. Afterward, the volunteers were asked to rate how likable the students were. And across the board, the volunteers who gave encouragement actually rated those students as more attractive. It turns out, doing something kind for someone actually makes you like them more.
So the really crucial takeaway here is this. Instead of you constantly bending over backwards doing massive favors for her, just ask her for tiny, simple favors.
hey, can you hold this for a sec? Or can I borrow a pencil? These are microscopic investments, but psychologically, they completely trick the human brain. Her subconscious rationalizes, wait, why am I helping this guy? I must be doing this because I actually like him. Humans are so weird, but hey, the science definitely works.
All right, before we dive headfirst into the really heavy biology stuff, let's step out of the psychology for just a second for Layer 4, the presentation reality check. Let's not kid ourselves here. Looks do matter, but they don't matter in the way the internet usually tells you they do. Studies consistently show that basic presentation actually matters way more than your raw genetics. You absolutely do not need to become some hyper-obsessive looks maxer. You just need to handle the bare minimum non-negotiables. Stand up straight with good posture. Wear decent clothes. Handle your basic grooming. And, for the love of everything, take a shower. If you can just avoid giving off Discord mod energy, you are literally already miles ahead of the competition.
But look, here is the part that nobody really likes to hear. Even if you completely nail the psychology, even if your vibe is 100% perfect, and even if your hygiene is completely flawless, rejection is still completely normal. Attraction is simply not universal. You're still going to get rejected sometimes, and that's just a basic reality of human interaction. So don't overcomplicate it, and definitely don't take it as some massive flaw in your character.
And finally, we reach our climax. Layer 5, the biological override. This is where we enter the wild, completely uncontrollable realm of neurobiology and genetics.
At the end of the day, biology can just instantly override all the hard work we just talked about, and it starts right in the nose with pheromones. These are invisible chemical signals that your nose picks up, and they communicate vast amounts of physical and genetic data. Honestly, it's mind-blowing how much information our bodies are silently broadcasting at any given second. If those chemical signals are compatible, fantastic. But if they aren't, well, you've got a problem that all the confidence in the world simply cannot fix.
And here is where things get truly wild. Women's bodies uniquely process these scents alongside something called MHC molecules. That's the major histocompatibility complex, which are directly tied to immune function. In this crazy twist of evolutionary survival mechanics, biological opposites actually attract. Studies like that famous sweaty t-shirt experiment show that women are biologically drawn to the scent of men who have completely different immune genes than their own. Why? Because that genetic variation gives potential offspring a massive survival advantage. Guys don't really have this built-in MHC radar, but for women, it's a super powerful subconscious driver.
Now, if that deep biological genetic match just isn't there, she might never feel that romantic pull, no matter how great you look on paper. Which brings us to the ultimate biological test, the first kiss. A first kiss is not just a physical action, it is a massive, intense exchange of tactile and chemical information. We're talking your breath, your timing, your overall energy. It's so critical, in fact, that a lot of women report losing all attraction instantly after a chemically incompatible first kiss.
But when the chemistry is right, a successful first kiss triggers this rapid-fire cascade of events in the nervous system. The tactile and chemical exchange happens, and boom, norepinephrine kicks in. Your fight-or-flight system lights up, your pupils widen, your heart rate speeds up, and adrenaline just skyrockets. This incredible chain reaction is literally your body proving your compatibility on a cellular level. It's amazing! So as you process all these different layers of attraction we've unpacked today, you've got to ask yourself this final question. Are you just hyper-focused on playing a psychological game, trying to rehearse the perfect lines and hack the system? Or do you finally understand that while you absolutely can spark interest through your vibe and presentation, true, lasting connection ultimately answers to biology? Really think about that the next time you step out the door. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.